All right, this is Mike, Seder 42 Vinyl. I'm going to do my top 10 metal albums, or my top 10 favorite metal albums that I purchased this year. This is obviously not a top 10 list of overall because I can't listen to everything, but these are just albums that I picked up, and these are 10 of my favorites in order from 10 to 1. The first album at number 10 is Arjen Lucasen's Supersonic Revolution. This is a side project from Arjen, another side project that he does. He has a bunch of them, Star One, Arion. He's done some other ones in the past too. Guilt Machine is one that he did. But this one is Supersonic Revolution. It's kind of a new one, and it's basically kind of a love letter or inspired by all the stuff that inspires Arjen, like a lot of the 70s hard rock, like Deep Purple, David Bowie, T-Rex, all kinds of stuff like that. And he kind of just wrote songs about that stuff and kind of in the style of some of that music. Really, really, really good stuff here. Arjen did a great job on this, and it's a really cool side project. Really, really great songs. It's the same singer on all the songs, which is cool. It's a guy called JC, and it's just fantastic, fantastic stuff. Got it on the purple vinyl for the copy that I ended up getting. Really great stuff. Deserves to be at number 10. My number 9 favorite album. This band has been making music for a long time. They were one of the first bands to come out of the Florida death metal scene, and they are just fantastic, and they've just made one of their best albums. And number 9 is Obituary. This is Dying of Everything. This album is fantastic, from the artwork to the songs. It really bring back old memories for me from a lot of the different eras of Obituary. And I think this album it's not as good as Cause of Death. I'm not going to say that, but there's parts that remind me of Cause of Death. Like I could say that could fit right on there. It sounds really, really good. And it's definitely one of the best Obituary albums that they've made. It's it might be their top 2 or 3 for me of all their albums. Really, really, really good stuff here. Dying of Everything. It's a veteran band writing some of their best stuff that they have in a long while. The riffing is great. Vocals, John Tardy still has it on vocals. Really good album from a veteran band. Number 8. This is I believe this is the 3rd full-length album from this band, and this album was a grower. This album I was not overly impressed with the first time I listened to it, and it ended up on some people's list. Some people were talking about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it another shot. So I kept putting it on, and I think I just had it on in the background one day, and I caught myself singing along to a couple of the songs, and I'm like, you know what, this album is working now. And that's Night Demon, and this is the Outsider. And this album is pretty neat. It's pretty funny or pretty fun. It's like a concept album where I think it's him and his wife, maybe, or girlfriend. They wrote this story, and he wrote all this music and songs around this story about this kid who goes to like kind of an alternate universe or whatever, where everything's different. I think his father dies in his universe, but he's alive in this other one, and his friends are different. Anyway, it's just a really weird story, but he ends up being the outsider in this other, parallel dimension. Very melodic, new wave British heavy metal kind of style, trad metal, basically, traditional heavy metal. This one is definitely a grower, and it is a really, really great album. There's some really good songs on here. This album's a grower, and sometimes those growers are the ones that last, the ones that you go back to over and over again.
Carry on, all I know is my name. Play it in the dark shade. Beyond the grave, that is where you'll find me. Beyond the grave, in shadow myself.
All right, so now I'm going to go to number 7. This is some members of the band Visigoth, but they have a female singer for this side project, and the band is Bloodstar. And Bloodstar, this is a first sighting. This album is great. 8 songs, almost every song is excellent, and it's just banger after banger after banger. Really, really, really good stuff here. And it's probably my favorite colored vinyl this year. It comes in this like teal and black kind of, or teal and white kind of splatter, I guess you would call this. They call it Cosmic Rain. So it just has a funny name, but I just really like this kind of style of vinyl. But anyway, great songs, very melodic. It says female vocals for the most part. There's 1 or 2 songs, I think, that one of the guys sings. I know there's one for sure. And all the songs are great. They all have hooky choruses, great riffing, just traditional heavy metal, exactly the way you want it written for this style, and this could have came out, early 80s easily in the new wave of British heavy metal, and it would have been a smash. And yeah, really, really, really good stuff here. Number 6. I almost wrote this band off a long time ago. I had the first couple albums from this band, and I really, really liked them. But then I just felt like they kept releasing the same album over and over and over again. This album makes me want to go back and listen to the 2000s era catalog from this band, because I really think that they are doing really good stuff. And that is the new Suffocation. This is Hymns from the Apocrypha. The thing that I love about this album, and I'll keep saying it again, death metal that is just fast, that's just like super fast, that is not variety, that's fast for fast's sake, I don't like. I get bored. and I just like, okay, you're going really fast. That's good. This album breaks up all that speed with these breakdowns and these riffs that are just like, they just stop you. You know, they're just chugging along, and then all of a sudden they do this crazy fucking riff again, and the solos are good. That's what really hooked me on this album. Almost every song has a riff like that I just stops me, you know, and makes me really pay attention. And it's not monotonous like some of that other stuff can be. And I streamed this album more than I've listened to my vinyl copy so far because I just had it on a loop for a while, for almost a week. This was the only thing I was listening to. And it was just like, I was really, really, really digging it. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about this new Suffocation album. It really makes me want to go back and listen to their 2000s era stuff. I played this a lot this year, especially on streaming. Really, really good stuff. All right, now we're into the top 5 for myself, you know, for songs, for albums that I listened to a lot this year. But I ended up spinning this album a lot. And when I heard the first review on this album, and they talked about how the person who reviewed it said there's a lot of melody on it. And when they played some, you know, clips, I was like, whoa, there is a lot of melody on here. This isn't melodic death metal, but it's death metal with melody, if that makes a difference. And this is Cattle Decapitation. This is Terracite. This album is heavy as fuck. It is just a brutal wall of guitars and growling vocals and death metal. But when those choruses hit, a lot of them, you're just like, it's not like they don't do really clean vocals, but this guy's vocal ability is all over the place. It's fantastic. And the songwriting is really great for very fast death metal. In here, the guitar tone, how they're playing these fast riffs, how they throw in all this different stuff in there, you know, these different memorable melodic guitar parts, and then with the singing on top of it, with the choruses that are just super catchy. But Cattle Decapitation, this is my first Cattle Decapitation album that I bought. I was really interested in the last one because I'd listened to that a couple times. I had streamed it. This album is fantastic. It's definitely a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100%. Great, great stuff. Number 4, my fourth favorite heavy metal album is another death metal album. I think this album is fantastic, and I'm still discovering things while listening to it. You know, this is one of those albums that every time I listen to it, there's new parts that pop out, and I'm like, oh, this section of this song is really good. I didn't, I must have missed it the first time or something, but it's really cool. And that is the new album from Horrendous. The name of this album is Ontological Mysterium. This is up there for best album cover as well. This might be my number 2 favorite album cover of the year. Freaking great art, great stuff here. This is progressive death metal, brutal though, progressive death metal. It's not like, very clean sounding. It's very dirty sounding. It just goes all over the place. It has fast parts, it has slow parts, it has, mid-pace parts, it has acoustical parts, it has all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The riffing though, very memorable. And I got it on this kind of brown, orangish splatter vinyl. Really, really great death metal this year. This is one of them. I have a Horrendous album on my shelf, and I thought it was good enough for me to pick this one up. When I saw it come up on Bandcamp, because I follow my Bandcamp and I get the emails all the time. I ordered this immediately, and it's funny. As soon as I put this on Discogs, I got at least 2 messages from people like, "Would you sell it to me? I really want this version." And I'm like, whoa, like why do people want this album so bad? And now after listening to it a bunch, I definitely know why. It is one of the best death metal albums of the year. Really, really good stuff. Horrendous nailed it. Top 3. The number 3 album this is a band that I only recently heard about. It's funny because somebody mentioned it in a video, oh, this band should get a lot more recognition. I started listening to some of the stuff, streaming it. I'm like, wow, this is really unique. It's kind of My Dying Bride-ish, like kind of doomy death metal, had violins and stuff like that. And then I found out, oh shit, they have a new album coming out, and that's Phlebotomized. And this album is really, really, really good. I haven't seen this album on anybody's list this year so far. I don't think I'm the only one who appreciates this album this year, but I loved it. The riffing on here is great, and there's clean vocals, there's guttural vocals, there's just a mix. Again, acoustic stuff similar to Horrendous. The album has a lot of variety of death metal on it, and I just loved it. I have this with the orange with the kind of the black in the middle there. Really, really great stuff. Clouds of Confusion. Highly recommend this. Album cover is great. Another great album cover from a death metal band this year. Phlebotomized. Good stuff. number 2. And my number 2 favorite album is, like I was saying, there's bands that have come back this year that are making their best work. Obituary is one of them. And this band finally, in my opinion, finally are back on the right track. And that is In Flames, Foregone. These guys are back on track. I was playing this in the car just the other day, and my wife was like, what is this? It's really good. She likes a lot of that melodic stuff. So when these choruses were hitting, I was like, this is what In Flames used to be. They're just fantastic though. There's brutal heavy parts in the middle, the great riffing that you want from In Flames, more in the death metal or the melodic death metal side of it, thrashy, but still brutal, a little bit brutal. But then those choruses hit and you're just like, fuck, that was great. And there's a really, really good song. Bleeding Out, it might be one of my favorite. There really isn't any bad songs on this album. And that's why it's my number 2 favorite album this year. I almost didn't pay attention to this album when it came out because I was like, oh great, another In Flames album, And with the way that they've been doing their kind of alternative metal kind of stuff, or whatever you want to call it, for the past like 4 or 5 albums. And I even tried to go back. I'm like, let me listen to the previous album and see. And I was just like, no, it just isn't working. But this album, I think they got a new guitar player. My theory is that guitar player is like, dudes, let's play the shit that you used to play. Let's go back and do what you used to do. I don't know whose idea it was to write a new In Flames album in the old style that In Flames used to be, but keep doing it. I don't need, it's fine, right? They can do whatever they want, but if they want me to buy new stuff from them, it's got to be in this style. In Flames, this is #my In Flames. This is the kind of In Flames that I want to hear. And I'm really excited about the reissues that they're doing. I'm getting the Rerouted to Remain and the Come Clarity. I'm very excited about those coming out. But yeah, this is my number 2 album of the year. I've listened to this quite a bit more recently, honestly. Excellent album. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100%. I love it. All right, my number 1 album of the year. This album got a lot of shit this year. This band got a lot of shit this year. I don't like this band's old material. I can't stand it, honestly. I've tried to listen to it and I don't like it. This band came out with an album right before this that I really, really, really liked. I was like, wow, this is a cool album. It sounds really good. It's progressive metal, but, has lots of memorable parts in it, but it still has unique flavor, lots of prog elements. And the last album that they had, I really, really liked it. And when this album came out, I started listening to it right away. And I was like, this is really cool. I liked it right away before I read reviews. And then as the reviews started coming out, people started shitting all over this album. A lot of people did. But I did see a lot of reviews out there that loved it. So it really got, it's one of those albums, and maybe it's not this, 100%, but it's like a lot of people, I think, dismissed it and was like, we don't like it at all. But other people were like, this is really cool. I don't think there were a lot of people in the middle. Some people were like, kind of, I'm not sure, but they didn't really kind of cast their, love or hate for it. They were just like, I don't know how to think about this album. I loved it from the beginning, and I love it now. I love it even more now. I listened to it again today, all the way through. I was not bored. I liked all the weird parts that people shit on, the roboticness of it, the weird, how the songs are written. I don't know. My brain, my ears just sponged all this stuff up. And that is the new Avenged Sevenfold album. This is Life is But a Dream. This album, I love it. I love this album. The more I listen to it, the more I am steadfast in loving this album. I love it. I love this album. I can't believe how much I like this album. I got it in the blue, the indie release. I know that some people are still warming to this album or are still unsure. Keep playing it. Keep playing it. Keep playing it. If it clicks, it'll become your favorite album. If it doesn't, I mean, I don't know. I really can't really say that for anybody else. I can only say that for myself. But this album, I would listen to. I was listening to this album while I was cutting the grass almost every time I cut the grass this past summer. And I would listen to it all the way through, and I would just like hope that I could get to the end before I finished, because I was like wanting to continue to listen to it. And that kind of is what hooked me on it. What really made me love this album was just playing it over and over and over again. I just think that it's fantastic. The stage was a step, I think, in the direction that they wanted to go now in the latter half of their career. And this is the full soak. These guys are in it. And they went all the way, because this album is weird. I get it. It's weird. But it's a weird that I love. I just could not get enough of this album this year. I listened to it a lot. And it's my favorite album of the year. I'm going to show you just a couple real quick honorable mentions. Another one of my favorite albums of the year, Acid Witch, put out an excellent album this year. Witch Hazel also put out an excellent album this year, more traditional metal that's just really good, very melodic, very sing-alongable. And Steel Panther put out a really good album this year. I liked it a lot. And Crypta put out a great album, really good stuff. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoy my list, and thanks. Bye.